Small herbs, big upgrade. Just a pinch of green onions and cilantro makes almost any dish fresher, brighter, and more delicious. But the problem is, they spoil fast and most people don't really know how to store them properly. That's why in this video, I'll show you 4 super simple but effective methods that can stretch their freshness far beyond just a few days, keeping them good for a week, 2 weeks, or even months. I won't keep you waiting. Let's get started. Tip number 1, the mini greenhouse method. Start by placing your cilantro and green onions on the counter. Before anything else, take a close look and remove any wilted or yellow leaves. Those bad leaves are like the weak link in a chain. Once they start to break down, they release enzymes and moisture that speed up the decay of the rest. It's a lot like leaving a bruised strawberry in a box. The mold will spread much faster to the others. Yellow leaves also signal that the tissue has lost chlorophyll and nutrients, which makes them a magnet for bacteria. Taking a minute to pick them out is a simple step that can buy you several extra days of freshness. Next, rinse everything under running water. But here's the important part. After rinsing, dry them very well. Moisture sitting on the leaves is the fastest way for slime to develop. If you've ever bought pre-washed salad mix, you know one soggy leaf in the bag ruins the whole thing in less than a day. Same idea here. A salad spinner or even just blotting with paper towels can make a big difference. By the way, where are you watching this video from? I'd love to know. I've got 2 glass jars here. In the first one, I'm adding green onions. In the second, I'm adding cilantro. Now I'll pour water into the cilantro jar. And then do the same for the green onion jar. Loosely cover the top with a plastic bag. That bag acts like a mini greenhouse, locking in humidity. Cilantro and other soft herbs hold best at almost 95% relative humidity, according to post-harvest research at UC Davis. Your fridge doesn't normally run that high, but this setup gets close. Every 2 or 3 days, replace the water and slice a thin layer off the stem bottoms. That refreshes the stems so they can keep drawing water, just like trimming flower stems in a vase. Skip this step, and they'll stop drinking, wilt, and collapse. Here's the result. After a full week in the fridge, the cilantro is still fragrant and upright, and the green onions are crisp with hardly any yellowing. If you'd rather skip the water changes and instead make your herbs actually grow back, let's move on to tip 2. Tip number 2, the endless harvest method. Now I'll start by cutting the green onions to collect the roots. Leave about 1 inch, that's 2 to 3 centimeters, of the white base attached to the roots. If you cut too short, the onion won't regrow properly. Make a clean, straight cut to keep it healthy. The fresh green tops I just trimmed? I'll save those for the next method on fridge storage. The root ends go into this little box. Later, I'll take them outside and plant them. Next, let's cut the cilantro. If your cilantro comes with roots, cut the stems so you leave about 1 inch of the crown with roots attached. That's the part that can sprout again. I'll put these roots right into the same box with the green onion roots. Now let's plant. The cilantro crown I put in the soil a few days ago already has new shoots coming up. Today I'll add these fresh onion roots and cilantro crowns to the same pot. Here's how to set it up. Use a pot at least 8 inches wide and deep, filled with well-draining soil. Make small holes just deep enough to cover the roots, and set the base right at soil level. Don't bury it too deep or it'll rot. Space the onion bases about 2 inches apart, and cilantro 4 to 6 inches apart so it has room to spread. Press the soil gently, water slowly until it drains from the bottom, and place the pot where it gets 4 to 6 hours of light. When the onion leaves reach about 6 inches tall, you can start trimming what you need. and the base will keep sending up new shoots. For cilantro, cut the outer stems first and pinch off any flower stalks to keep it leafy longer. After about 2 weeks, the onion bases are producing tall, crisp shoots, and even the cilantro crowns are sending up fresh new stems. Free flavor from what most people would throw away. Regrowing is fun, but not everyone wants soil and watering schedules. If you'd rather keep things clean and simple in the fridge, tip number 3 is a lifesaver. Tip 3. Paper towel and crisper drawer. This method is all about convenience and space saving. Start with a lightly damp paper towel. Not dripping wet, just moist enough to feel cool. That thin layer of moisture gives the herbs the cushion of humidity they need. Spread your cilantro on it, then roll it up gently. The paper towel plays a quiet but powerful role here. As the herbs naturally release a little condensation, the towel soaks up the excess, stopping water from pooling inside the container. At the same time, it slowly releases moisture back, keeping the herbs hydrated. Place cilantro in a zip-top bag, leaving one corner unsealed for airflow. For green onions, do the same. These green onions are a little too long, so I'll cut them in half to make them easier to wrap. Trimming them down so they actually fit inside the paper towel. It's much easier to manage this way, and shorter pieces bruise less when you store them. Now I'll wrap the bundles just like I did before, using a lightly damp paper towel. The towel is the real secret here, and it keeps a balance of moisture around the herbs. For the onions, I prefer putting the wrapped bundles into a food container like this. It's a great alternative if you don't want to use zip bags. The container protects the onions from being crushed by other foods in the fridge, and it also blocks that strong airflow that can dry them out too fast. See how neat and organized this looks? Everything lines up perfectly, and the best part is convenience. The next time I cook, I can just open the lid and take out exactly the amount I need. No mess, no waste, and the rest stays fresh. By the way, do you usually store your herbs in bags, containers, or just loose in the fridge? Drop your answer below. I'm curious what works best in your kitchen. Finally, I'll place both the green onions and the cilantro right here in this section of the fridge. Keeping them in a consistent spot matters. Ideally in a drawer or middle shelf away from a direct airflow. If cold air blows directly on herbs, they wilt in just a couple of days. Remember not to cram too much into one container. Give them space to breathe and check every 2 or 3 days. Here's the result. After 8 to 10 days, both cilantro and green onions are still crisp, fragrant and fresh with hardly any waste. This method is perfect if you want to keep your herbs whole and ready. Tip number 4, the freezing method. I've already prepared 4 glass food containers here. I'll start by chopping the cilantro into small pieces, just the right size to sprinkle into soups, stir-fries, or tacos. Cutting them down first makes freezing more efficient. Because once herbs are frozen whole, they become fragile and shatter when you try to chop them. Doing the prep now saves you frustration later. Once the cilantro is chopped, I'll pack it into the containers and close the lids tightly. A sealed glass container is important because it blocks freezer burn, that dry, icy texture you sometimes see on frozen vegetables when they're exposed to too much air. Next, let's make cilantro ice cubes. I'll spoon the chopped cilantro into an ice cube tray and top each section with water. Later, these cubes can be popped straight into a soup or curry. The water protects the herbs from oxidation, which is what causes that dull brown color if leaves are left exposed to air in the freezer. Now, onto the green onions. I'll chop them finely since that's how we usually use them as a garnish. I'll fill 2 glass containers all the way up and close the lids. Then I'll repeat the ice cube method, packing chopped green onion into trays, covering with water, and sealing the trays with lids. Filling them all the way up matters because air pockets encourage freezer burn. Finally, everything goes into the freezer. The trick with freezing herbs is to spread the trays and containers out at first, so cold air can circulate evenly and freeze them quickly. Fast freezing helps preserve both color and aroma. After a few hours, here's the result. The cilantro cubes and onion cubes are solid, ready to use anytime. You can grab one and toss it straight into a hot pan. No need to thaw. Heat releases the flavor almost instantly. And the herbs stored in containers? They stay loose and easy to scoop, perfect for sprinkling on top of dishes like baked potatoes or fried rice. The chopped herbs in containers are good for 3 to 5 days in the fridge, while the frozen cubes keep their bright color and strong flavor for 2 to 3 months without any waste. I am the man in the kitchen, sharing tips to make life easier. If you have your own tip, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to learn from you too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.